Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
WTL. It's time! WTL.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen and
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
No doubt about it. And, you know, we've been talking UFC, whether it's 304, 303. You know, we got to do it. And now they're going to Abu Dhabi Fight Night, and this is a loaded card.
It really is.
So we got to stay right there with the UFC, don't we?
Yeah, I believe so, Andy.
Oh man, and what those some post 304. I was surprised how hard Dana White came down on his fighters.
Yeah, he really didn't. Well, they always get under his skin because they asked for the bonuses. And then he didn't get any knockouts. That's what bonuses entail. And yeah, he was just really mad at everybody except for Patty the Batty.
Yeah, he straight up said, "You just thank everybody on that fight card.
I'm never doing that again."
Yep, 100,000, 50,000 doesn't matter.
Yep, I'm never upping them again.
Yep, bunch of submissions. And it's like you're not used to hearing, your league's commissioner come down on its players.
Exactly, but
like
when they promise something that this is going to be one of the best shows, you can see why. So that was pretty funny, and
All right, so the word is out now. We're expecting some action in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's start right with a fight that might have been really good 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's Tony Ferguson taking on Michael Chelsea. And Michael Chelsea is a huge minus 750 favorite. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, this fight is ridiculous, Andy. 2 guys that are way past their prime have combined for 10 straight losses between the 2 of them. I'm not betting on Ferguson, who probably has CTE right now, and I just don't believe he knows where he's at in the world. He's kind of like, just taking a fight, and Chelsea, who was basically non-competitive in his last fight. There's nothing to bet on here, Andy, because you can't lay down money on Chelsea with that minus 700, and then I'm not putting any money on Tony Ferguson at that plus money just because I don't think he's going to be able to finish his fight. So the only thing that I would look at is Michael Chelsea maybe by knockout, but that's still not going to get you very much in terms of odds. So I don't see anything to bet on here. Like you said, couple names that we would really like to talk about maybe 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, right on. So let's just sidestep
that one.
Yep, and let's go back down to the women's straw rate.
Yep.
This is a top 10 matchup here. Mackenzie Dern is catching a lot of publicity. Good-looking gal, great fighter, all those things against Lupe Gonanias from Mexico. She's the number 10 contender in the straw weight class. It appears to me this is going to be a very competitive fight. Dern is your favorite at a minus 120.
Yeah, minus 120. Lupe's sitting there at plus 100, Andy. So I'm pretty surprised that Dern is the favorite here. She's just 2-4 in her last 6 fights. She hasn't looked good in her last 2 as she got finished by Jessica Andrade and by Lemos. Really beat her up as the fight went on. Yeah, no doubt. Those are 2 of the top in women's fighting. But Lupe has gone from a wrestler to a striker so much that, you really got to look at you got to out-wrestle her to win. Dern is just so hittable on the feet that I think Lupe is going to have success with the striking. I don't see Dern having much success trying to wrestle and control Lupe. I think Dern is fade material. I do not like her right now. I'm taking the plus money with Lupe to win by decision.
All right. Even though Lupe's strength is wrestling and just her body style, she looks like a wrestler. That looks like it would be. You think she's going to get Dern to the mat?
I believe she does, but even if not, I believe that she's a good enough striker to hang with Dern. And if she does get a couple of those, takedowns and control on her, I believe that she's going to take this with ease. I just think Mackenzie Dern is just kind of in kind of a repetitive, fight pattern right now that she's going up against wrestlers, and she doesn't really have much to do with that. So I believe Loopy is the play here, especially with the plus money.
Yeah, just straight up with the plus money. You don't need to get fancy or anything like that.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's move on up to a weight class that's catching a lot of publicity lately. And that is the men's bantamweight.
Yep.
And we got a top 6 matchup here. Marlon Vera, number 4 contender in the world, is at plus money against Davison Figueiredo out of Brazil. He is the number 6 contender in the world in this weight class and he is your minus 150 favorite.
Yeah, Andy. One of the best bets for this one is obviously looking for this to go to the distance, and that is at a minus 200 right now. I really don't care who wins this fight, Andy. Vera starts off slow. In his last 3 fights have gone the distance. Figueiredo went the distance against Rob Font in his debut at this new weight class. So you can see that this one will probably be kind of a slower fight, and that it could end with maybe a submission here or there. But these guys really prolong the fight, start slow, feel each other out for a long time. So he got a choke win against Cody Garbrandt, but Garbrandt isn't Vera. Vera will not let Figueiredo control him like that.
Yeah.
These guys are cerebral fighters, and they know how to stay out of danger. So I think Vera will win this fight. I am going to go back Marlon just because I think he wants a good bounce-back fight off of the Sugar Show loss.
Right.
So I do believe that Vera starts slow, picks it up in the later round, last round, and gets the win here. Davison Figueiredo is a past champion, though, so you have to give him that. But this is a new weight class. These guys are a little bit bigger, and Marlon Vera is one of those top-notch fighters, like you said.
Both weighed in at 125 or 135, excuse me.
Yep.
And you mentioned the Sugar Show taking care of Marlon Vera there. He is coming off a loss, where Figueiredo's coming off a win.
Yeah.
But this is 2 in a row now that you like the plus money bets.
Yeah, exactly. And I just believe that they're putting a little bit too much weight on Davison Figueiredo's past accomplishments in his other weight class.
Right.
I don't believe that he probably has fought a guy like Marlon Vera ever, especially when you think of Davison Figueiredo, you think of fast fighters, punching fighters coming up against him. Marlon Vera is going to sit back and wait for his chance to do it, take him to the mat if he has to. I love the plus money with Marlon Vera. I just think he's a better fighter at this weight class.
He's also ranked higher.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Davison Figueiredo is trying to climb the ladder in this weight class, and it's going to be very hard for him to do with these top-notch fighters at the top of this.
Well, speaking of guys that are ranked higher, but also are underdogs here, let's get to the main fight.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're staying right there in the bantamweight, and we got Corey Sandhagen, the number 2 contender in this weight class in the world, is a 250 underdog to Umar Nurmagomedov, another one of these Russian guys. But he is your 10th ranked contender, and he's like all these dudes coming out of that camp, just skyrocketing up the rankings and starting to headlight some of these fights.
Yeah, exactly. Umar Nurmagomedov I believe this line is crazy. It is absolutely crazy to me.
Minus 300, I just saw.
Minus 300 against Corey Sandhagen, who has been a staple of this, weight class for years.
Yeah.
I guess the thinking is that Umar will take Sandhagen down and control him and dominate the fight on the ground. But Sandhagen just dominated Rob Font with takedowns and ground control. So I don't think it's a slam dunk that Umar can dominate the ground game on Corey Sandhagen like he has against his last 3 opponents that aren't up to the standard of Corey Sandhagen. So I also like Sandhagen striking a bit better as he's more creative and he comes in at different angles and all that jazz. Umar hasn't fought anyone who strikes like this, Andy. So I love the plus money that you're getting at Corey Sandhagen right now. If you can get a plus 250 anywhere in that plus 260 on DraftKings right now. I just love it. The last thing that I think Sandhagen has fought much better competition, even though he has a few losses. He's been there with Peter Yan, Marlon Vera, a roided up TJ Dillashaw. This is by far the toughest test that Nurmagomedov has ever had, and to lay minus 285 to minus 300 is crazy to me to put money on that. So Sandhagen is the play at this price. Yeah,
and Umar, I just feel like he's so predictable too. It's either submission, it's wrestling, and that's it. Where Corey Sandhagen does have a much more well-rounded game
for sure
to his repertoire, as you like to mention. And he can knock you out. He can go to the mat if he has to. I just don't. I just don't see that from Umar, right? That he comes out of that camp where we're going to take you to the mat, we're going to wrestle you to death.
No, that is exactly what he's there to do. He's there to wrestle you. They don't make any two ways about it. That's what this guy is here to do. And if you are on Umar, I mean, what you got to look at is by way of submission, and that's at a plus 275 right now. So that is
okay.
Your best bet of this fight is taking Umar by submission. But like I said, Corey Sandhagen is not that guy. He's going to prolong this fight. He's going to stay on his feet as long as he can. What I would really like, if I'm going to throw a softball out there, is Corey Sandhagen to win by KO is at a plus 550 right now. I just love Corey Sandhagen money line at plus 260. You're not going to find a better bet with a better fighter with good odds like this. Plus 260, Corey Sandhagen money line is my bet for this fight.
And Sandhagen's average fight time, his average bout lasts over 13 minutes and 30 seconds. That means that, he's there. When a lot of your bouts are only 3 rounds, 5 minutes each.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's not going to allow himself to get put into a submission hold on the mat. And that's really what Umar's, I feel like that's kind of like his ceiling. That's how they fight. That's how they win.
They are wrestlers, and that's how they win. And that's how he's done it the last 3 fights against these guys who are putting this line at where it is at minus 300. I just believe it's crazy to put money on him like that. Like I said, if you're going to bet Umar, bet him by submission. Get a couple dollars on that plus 275. But Corey Sandhagen has a lot more ways to win at plus 260 just on the money line.
All righty, Mr. Parlay Pounder. You've been talking a lot of plus money bets here. Do you have a parlay play for Abu Dhabi?
Exactly, and I'm just going with 2 that I just talked about, and it is Marlon Vera at plus 120 money line and Corey Sandhagen at plus 260 money line. You put those together for 692 parlay plus 692. Put $25 on that to win 198.
Bingo! There you go. A couple plus money bets there, just straight up wins, right? Nothing fancy?
Crazy. Marlon Vera plus 120, Corey Sandhagen plus 260. Both money line bets for a 692 parlay. Putting 25 on it to win 198.
There is your Fight Night Abu Dhabi parlay play from the Parlay Pounder. Take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the EOS Hefeweizen. That's one of their core series beers. It is a Bavarian wheat beer, but let me tell you, JaBron, it's a little bit sweeter than your traditional German Hefeweizen, and I know you like sweet things.
For sure. Always sweet for me.
Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. And, we started off with a little UFC Fight Night. And I still got a little bit of that fight in my blood here.
Yeah.
Especially since, we're from Nebraska. And the greatest boxer in the world, pound for pound, best fighter on the planet, Bud Crawford, Terence Crawford, actually has a fight coming up here.
Yes, he does.
So we got to talk about it.
Yeah, it's awesome, Andy. He decided to vacate his undisputed championship and head to junior middleweight, where he will search for new targets, Andy.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about people collecting pelts. He's collecting belts. Moving to another weight class. He's taking on the WBA super welterweight title holder as of right now, Israil Madrimov, a European fighter who's 10-0-1.
Yep.
This is a 12-round bout. It's going to be at the BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. Danzen will have it on pay-per-view, as will ESPN Plus will also carry it on pay-per-view, so hopefully they'll get some more publicity
for sure.
out there. But Terence is a huge favorite, and that's what we've been saying for a number of years now. No matter who they got Terence Crawford lined up against, I'm looking at a line of minus 700.
Yeah, minus 700 money line, Andy. Israil Madrimov is plus 475. Yeah, you're going to have to get a little crazy with your Terence Crawford bets to get some good value. Terence Crawford by KO right now is minus 140, so maybe look there for a parlay piece during your weekend. Terence Crawford by decision is at a plus 190 if you're thinking that it goes the entire way, or you can start doing round betting. A lot of experts have Crawford usually winning this thing in round 9 to 11, somewhere in that range, which would be at round 9, it's a plus 1,000. Round 11 is a plus 12,000. So that's where you really get odds boosted up in boxing is betting by rounds.
And that's really what it's been for me, for Bud, as of late. And last time he was in Omaha, we went over and did the boats, know, and I just sprinkled some on round 6, 7, and 8.
That's what you got to do.
And that's what happened. I believe he got the knockout in round 8. Yeah. And it felt like he could have got it in 5.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
31 KOs all time for Crawford. He is 40-0 right now. So all but 9 haven't even had to go down to decision for Terence Bud Crawford. I mean, it's not all glamour right now. There is a lot of risk here for Terence Bud Crawford. It's just that he's such a superior boxer that people are overlooking ring rust. He hasn't fought in over a year. He's moving to another weight class. All these things, but I just don't think you can slow down or stop the machine that is Bud Crawford.
Yeah, exactly. You're correct, Andy. Israil Madrimov is no pushover. I think he will present a physical test for Crawford due to his size and strength, Andy. But I don't consider the defending WBA 145 pounder, on Crawford's level. It's just I'm not saying that Madrimov won't make it Madrimov won't make it interesting. I think he will at some points. He's got an unorthodox style, herky-jerky rhythm. It might take Bud a few rounds, like you're saying, to figure it out, but I believe that he will get acclimated by the middle rounds, and he'll take full advantage of the flaws that he sees in his defense and his footwork. And I believe Crawford will beat him with the jab. The counterpunch with authority, is always there, Andy, and gradually begin to pressure the bigger man down the stretch. And I believe he probably does get a KO, around that 8, 9, 10 round range. So that's where I'll be putting most of my money, Andy, is 8, 9, and 10. I believe Crawford will get the knockout.
I mean, even Crawford by decision is at like a plus 200 right now at MGM.
It's crazy.
And you're at minus money, minus 150, minus 125 for a KO or TKO Bud Crawford win.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just insane.
That is insane, Andy. And a lot of experts are thinking that this goes to decision, but I think they're just putting a little bit too much on Madrimov to be able to stay in this fight. And I believe that Team Crawford chose Madrimov not just because he holds the belt at 154, Andy, but also his physical dimensions are close to that of Canelo.
There we go.
And that's the man I believe is Crawford's destined opponent in terms of topping his legacy and making that bank account where it should be. That big Canelo fight, I believe, is on his mind, and Madrimov is physically strong and has threatening power, but obviously it would engulf in Canelo or whatever. But I believe he has the all-around same skill set as Canelo that really caught Crawford's eye
and body type, and he's holding the belt. So I believe Crawford pushing 37. Yes, is he fighting for the first time more than a year? Like you said, yes. I just believe that he is just a much better boxer than this guy, and he's going to go out and send a message to Canelo. It's now or never, man. I just beat this guy. Are you in? I'm in. Yeah, and that guy's really a baby. I mean, he's only had 11 professional fights compared to Terence with 41. And Canelo, he's actually opened the door a little bit here. It was a strong no. Now he's like, well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, and just like Live Golf, there's some big-time Saudi money coming in from across the pond saying, I will basically pay Alvarez whatever he wants if he will get in a ring with Terence Bud Crawford. And the fact that this fight with Bud Crawford, it's at BMO Stadium in L.A., that's still kind of a big deal. But the fact that Danzon, but also ESPN Plus is carrying this on their pay-per-view, eyes are going to be on it everywhere, and I just think Crawford knows that. I wouldn't be surprised if he really tries to finish this guy off even earlier. I usually like to bet Bud somewhere north of the 6th round.
Yeah,
I might even look a little earlier just because this guy is young. He is in a different weight class, and I think Bud wants to send that statement to the boxing universe.
Yeah,
that Canelo, you see this right here. You think I don't measure up? I do.
Yeah, exactly, Andy. And I've seen a few experts say that as well, Andy, that Israil Madrimov is going to come out of the gate swinging because it's probably his best chance is to smother Crawford early and try and get a stoppage that way. But that will only speed up Crawford's way to get to a finish. So, Andy, if you're looking at some of those rounds like like you said, 4 or 5. 4 is at a plus 2,000 right now. Crawford at round 5 is at plus 1,600, and round 6 is plus 1,400. Yeah. Definitely sprinkle a few, $5, $10 bets in there as well, Andy, because if Israil comes out here, the dream they call him, and tries to smother Crawford early, that's just going to open up his lack there of defense, and Crawford's going to figure him out that much earlier. So Crawford, if he wants him to prolong this fight, he's not going to try and smother him. But I believe Israel's best chance at winning the fight is coming out and knocking him out right away, while Crawford has his foot off the gas pedal trying to figure him out. So I do see a way that Crawford gets that knockout 5, 6, and 7, but I still think he's going to back off and wait till those later rounds to end the show or even get a decision. I do believe he gets the knockout, though.
Israil might come in, hot and heavy early on. A lot of fighters, it's not like Bud hasn't seen that before.
Oh, for sure not.
But once he gets a couple of those jabs right to the jaw, and it's going to be surgical, he might kind of back off that attack mode is what I'm thinking. So I do like the under 12 rounds. Just a flat under 12 rounds is at a plus 200 plus 180 on a lot of books.
Yeah, no doubt.
That might be your safest bet to do.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And if you're looking at DraftKings, most people will be probably is the over-under at 10.5. I would go on the under on that as well, Andy. That's at a minus 125. That's probably a good parlay piece for the weekend. Yeah. But I believe your best parlay piece for the whole entire thing, or just a straight bet if you want to go that way, is Terence Crawford by KO at minus 140. I think that's just the way you got to look at this.
Minus money. Wow.
Minus 140. I just believe it's probably the most likely outcome. Hey, if you want to throw Israil Madrimov some money here, plus 900 on a KO, go ahead and do it. I think it's not money well spent. I don't believe that's going to happen. But, everybody has a puncher's chance, I guess.
I think that's more likely, the KO at plus 900 than the win by decision at plus 1,000. I really do, because there's no way he's going to get to the end of the fight. So if he's going to win, he's going to have to catch Bud slacking and get him just right, knock him out. Yeah,
and that's the thing with me, Andy. Crawford's not going to have to go look for Madrimov as a style. He's going to come straight for him, throwing wild hands right and left. I just believe that Crawford's going to be able to figure him out and knock him out. So I think the best way to get money, to win money on this fight, is somehow figuring out that round that you're going to have the most luck with. Like we said, it could be 5 through 7. What I'm looking more is 8 through 10, Andy.
Yeah, so I like that. I do like that.
So that's where I'm going with, Andy. I'm going with knockout, and I'll probably sprinkle a little bit on round 8, round 9, and round 10.
So the prediction for this pay-per-view is around $80, regardless where you got it. Now, you got a golfing trip coming up with some buddies.
Yeah.
So you're going to get everyone to chip in then, or how are you going to handle this?
That's how we usually do it on UFC. So that's probably the way that we do it for Terence Crawford as well.
You'll have to give me that stream or something.
Yeah.
If I don't get out, if I can't get out, I'll have to figure out a way on the back channels on the old interwebs.
Yes, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So,
or just bite the bullet and do the ESPN Plus thing. God dang it.
Go Crawford. I can't wait for this fight, but moving up a weight class, and he's going to get the win.
Yeah, I'm not scared about the movement from weight classes. We've seen it 3-4 times now from Bud Crawford, and he hasn't had a problem at any step, and this leaves me and that's how the odds makers are saying that too.
Yeah, minus 700 is absolutely crazy for somebody that's as old as Bud is.
For a belt.
Exactly. Minus 700 for as old as Bud is, moving up a weight class, all this stuff. It's unprecedented what Bud's doing, and he's going to show it again Saturday night.
Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen and JaBron.
JaBron.
Oh, the Parlay Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Okay, now we got to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yep.
Too much testosterone, adrenaline, all the things.
Too much fighting.
UFC, world-class boxing. Bud Crawford going to dominate again. Don't get too twisted on that.
Yep, Bud.
Let's talk a little Olympics.
Yeah.
And let's talk about golf.
Let's do it.
Just outside of Paris at the Le Golf National.
In Paris.
Yes, well, just outside of Paris at the Gaillancourt in France is where it's going to take place. And we're starting early tomorrow morning. I believe the first round takes off at 2 a.m.
Yep.
You got the likes of Rory McIlroy and Ludwig Aberg. We talked about Aberg just about a week ago.
Yep.
They're set to tee up at 3 a.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, we're going to get this going. And some rounds are probably going to be underway by the time a lot of people
are hearing this.
But we got to talk about it anyway. The format for this tournament is a lot like the PGA style.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's not going. There's not going to be any curveballs or any weird things like that going on here. And I just saw a little highlight and some of the footage of Rory taking some practice swings and stuff like that earlier today. And yesterday he looks comfortable.
Yeah, no, this is literally just the Olympics tournament is what it is. It's just the next PGA event at the Olympics.
each nation is allowed a maximum of 4 players within the top 15, and I think the USA is going to make some noise because our top 4 boasts the number 1 player in the world, Scotty Scheffler. Xander Schauffele is number 3 in the world right now. Wyndham Clark is ranked number 5 in the world, and then we're rounding it out with Colin Morikawa at number 7. And a lot of models and a lot of people are talking about Colin to maybe take this thing down.
Yeah, Andy. He is my overall favorite to win this tournament, Andy. We can get to him in a little bit. The one thing I kind of want to start off with, Andy, that's a really fun factoid about this: 2 golfers, Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele, have an opportunity to do something that has never been accomplished before by winning a major championship and winning a gold medal in the same year. Scheffler took the Masters in April to go along with the PGA and Open for Schauffele. A medal here, while it would not, officially count towards a PGA Tour statistic, could help influence who eventually wins the PGA Tour Player of the Year award. So it could really go into that. So
there's a little money in that.
It really is.
Okay.
So that's really cool. Really cool factoid that you can, go around the office and tell people that that's never happened before. Neither one has ever done that before.
Well, just kind of looking at the leaderboard here, as far as odds are concerned, you got Scheffler in front there at a plus 300. He is your overall favorite, followed by Schauffele at a plus 525, 500 on most books, and then Rory at plus 700. Interestingly enough, I have seen a number of different betting models and such that aren't giving Rory much love. The odds makers are, but a lot of different types of models are not looking good for Rory.
No, I don't think Rory's a good play here. I just think he's kind of out of it since the last couple tournaments. Obviously, he's always going to be up there with the betting board because if you're betting on golf, you have to talk about Rory McIlroy. So I am steering clear of him, Andy. I am on my American train for my gold medal winner and my contender.
Let's go.
Colin Morikawa. It's a perfect situation for Morikawa. He's been absolutely incredible so far this year, but without any hardware to show for it. Of everyone in the field over the last 36 rounds, only Scheffler and Schauffele have been better. He has 10 consecutive top 16s, and if the course does firm up a bit like Scheffler talked about, then all of the better for Morikawa. He should thrive in an iron contest. So I love Colin, especially at the betting odds of plus 900 right now. I believe that's the best bang for your buck going into this tournament.
Yeah, plus 1,000 some books wherever you can get it.
Yeah.
And you make a great point there. This is your traditional European course where it doesn't stretch out like the U.S. Open and things of that nature, where it really is. It settles well for those guys that are hot with their irons right now. And Morikawa is probably at the tippy top of that list right now. He can just pinpoint where he wants to place his ball, whether it's off the tee-off box, with his wood, but then that second shot, that's where your money is made on these type of courses. And it's really tough to get past that. that plus 900. I like that.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. The plus 900, I believe, is the best value bet. Going down the list a little bit with Xander Schauffele. I mean, yeah, obviously it's brave of us to pick the hottest player in the world. Of the players in this field, Schauffele ranks second in strokes gained, second in approach play, third from tee to green, and first in putting over his last 36 rounds. It would be absolutely stunning for him not to finish outside the top 10 in this. I believe Xander Schauffele is as good a bet as anybody at plus 550, plus 600, wherever you can find it. Get your best odds.
So is he one of your contenders, or are you looking at a few more?
That is my contender. Colin is my champion. Xander is my contender. And my last guy on the list is Tommy Fleetwood, Andy.
Tommy Fleetwood.
You're going down the list a little bit. This is kind of a sleeper pick, plus 2,000, Andy. He won the Open de France here in 2017, is coming off an uncharacteristic missed cut in the Open Championship. I like Fleetwood, but his short game has been struggling lately. He hasn't gained a full stroke around the green or with his putter in 3 straight tournaments. The trajectory has me looking elsewhere, but I believe that he is very open right now to playing this course and very familiar with it. That's why he has the stature to do it, and he's been here before and won a tournament. So that's why I'm kind of looking at that long ball play of plus 2,000 for Tommy Fleetwood.
There's plenty of long ball plays to look at here with really, really elite golfers. Wyndham Clark's at a plus 5,000 as well.
There you go.
And he's, what did we just mention? He is ranked 5th in the world right now. So getting that type of odds from someone that's ranked 5th in the world on the PGA Tour, I don't feel like, I'm not going to give you a bad time.
No, you can't.
A little bit down on that.
No, you can't. And for one, and everybody's going to say, why aren't you talking about Scottie Scheffler? Obviously, if you're putting, plus 330 on Scottie Scheffler, that's definitely not a bad bet. We're not telling you not to do that. Obviously, that's good. It's just when you look down the line, top 5, top 10, he's minus money in both of those categories because he's Scottie Scheffler. So that's kind of the reason I look away from Scottie. You get better odds, better vig if you're heading down the, better odds with Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele.
What do you think? I mean, this guy's up on the leaderboard right now. And he's got a fun pairing with Victor Hovland. Jon Rahm. I know he's been inconsistent, we'll say, with his driver and his irons, but he's only at a plus 700.
Yeah, Andy, and
so that's like 4th or 5th best odds.
4th or 5th best odds. I mean, you can't do anything against John. You can't put anything against him. He won his first Live Golf tournament last week in the United Kingdom, and now with 4 straight top 10s, that weird, kind of mid-season major, that he struggled in is kind of a distant memory. So John could come out of the woodwork and kind of take everybody by storm and really win this tournament. He's playing really good golf right now. So, I do not hate that bet. I do not hate that bet.
I mean, he was hitting the ball all around, but I mean, if you're good enough to win a tournament a week ago, you're obviously figuring something out, right?
Exactly, Andy. Exactly. I just believe that one of the Americans is going to win this gold medal. So, that's the way I'm going with it.
Just help us out with that medal count. I mean, that's what we're all about here.
That's what we're here for.
USA.
Yeah, one of my favorite nidbit DraftKings bet is a double chance to win.
Okay.
So just one of these guys has to win the gold medal, and I'm putting that on Xander and Colin Morikawa is at a plus 350. So that's
either or with the plus money.
Either or with the plus money. So you kind of split it.
Yeah.
And you get a little less better odds, but plus 350 is still pretty dang good. So that's the one I'm looking at.
That's pretty fun. You don't have a parlay for this at all, do you?
I do have a parlay, Andy, if you want to hear it.
We got to hear it.
Yeah, it's Xander Schauffele and Colin Morikawa to be in the top 5, and that's at a plus 500 right now on DraftKings. You can put 25 on it to win 150.
DK coming out with some of the lines here, some of the fun ones.
They just have a lot of fun parlays on there. Make sure you browse through them. But yeah, I'm all Team USA all the time. So Xander, Scotty, Colin, let's bring it home for the USA.
Hey, we always have that Midwestern, that Nebraska lean when we're talking football. We might as well have that lean during the Olympics.
No doubt.
US of A.
USA, baby, all the way.
Red, white, and blue. There we go. Take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. Talk about having a bias.
Yeah.
World-class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Ian T. Classen, joined by
JaBron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
And a big moment just happened in Major League Baseball. The trade deadline has come and gone.
Yes, it has.
A lot of buzz, as there always is. It kind of reminds me of like an NBA offseason, but it's like in real time. It's
in
like,
real time.
This is the last thing you get to do, Mr. Yankees. You can't get any better than this from here on out.
This is the last money you can spend this year until the season's over.
And boy, oh boy, I guess that's where we should start, because the Yankees did spend some money. And by all measures, unless you talk to Yankees fans, they had one of the best trade deadlines in Major League Baseball. Surprise.
Yeah, Andy, and both in the AL East, well, that's what we're talking about here, Andy, is the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees, separated by just half a game right now, coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, both of them were buyers at the deadline. Yankees obviously got the most impactful player, Andy, getting center fielder / second baseman Jazz Chisholm Jr. from the Marlins for 3 prospects. Despite his video game cover fame, Andy, for the Marlins,
Miami.
He's never been a quote unquote star yet, but he gives the Yankees something that they did not have, which is speed.
Yeah,
they are baseball's slowest team. He's their new fastest player. Chisholm has stolen 80 bases in the last 2 seasons, despite missing chunks of time due to injury. So nearly twice as much as any Yankee. So you can see why this will be such an impactful player for the Yankees, especially being able to have him play at 2 different positions, second base and center field.
Yeah, he fits everything that the Yankees were looking for as far as speed and athleticism. He does all those things for him. And they also picked up right-hander Mark Leiter Jr. over from the Cubs.
Yeah.
They also acquired another right-hander, Santos. The bullpen got better. They got a couple of starters. J.D. Davis got a little depth at third base there from my Oakland Athletics. Just a little cash deal there. Could you believe it? Oakland was out of cash. So there you go. Yankees, you need a third baseman? No? Well, just take him, please.
Yeah, please take him. We don't need him anymore. We're not playing baseball. But yeah, obviously the Yankees had a really, really good trade deadline. They got the money to do it. But what I really want to flip the script, Andy, and talk about the Orioles, because they did a really good job. They acquired Zach Eflin from the Rays, a really good starting pitcher. And for all we talk about how badly the O's needed a rotation help this year, and they do, they also need to look forward to the 2025 group that might not include Corbin Burns, their hot ace. So I like Zach Eflin. He's going to really help them this year, but looking down the road, he's going to be one of their best pitchers going forward.
Well, I think odds makers agree with you really across the spectrum here. Just looking at FanDuel, pulled it up here.
Yeah.
To win the AL, you have the Yankees at plus 250.
Yep.
But the Orioles are right there at a plus 270. That gap has closed after the trade deadline. And just like all the different things with Major League Baseball, you're talking Yankees, but quietly other teams are making moves, Baltimore being one of those teams. Right there in that division, the Tampa Bay Rays, you mentioned them, but they also were, they unloaded some things, but they also got a lot of things back, headlined by Christopher Morel, the third baseman. They got a lot of pitchers. They got a lot of pitchers here at this trade deadline. I don't even want to run down
they're building for the future, Andy. They're still 5 games out of the wild card, so they do have a puncher's chance at getting into the wild card. Probably not going to happen, but
not this year.
They traded some of their top players for, like you said, a bunch of people that can help them down the future.
Yeah.
Another one for the Orioles, they got Trevor Rogers and Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers to play right now for them. So like you said, Andy, with the Orioles, I'm looking at a line of plus 125 to win the AL East, Andy. They're still plus money, and they're a half game up on the Yankees. They're still first in the division, and they're plus money. I believe this is a very, very good bet as of right now. And the Baltimore Orioles to win the World Series. Rays is plus 750. I love that number as well. They are one of the best young teams in baseball, and if they get hot, they get hot.
Yeah, and they picked up a whole slew of pitchers as well. I mean, just the list is pretty staggering here. Dominguez, a right-hander, flamethrower, a backup catcher. Yep. They also got Soto, a left-handed pitcher, and Trevor Rogers. Did you mention
Trevor Rogers, baby,
from the Marlins?
Yep.
Boy, Miami, they kind of took the Oakland approach. Like, we don't even need anything in return here. We're just unloading because we're sellers at the deadline here.
No doubt, Andy. No doubt. If we want to get off the Yankees and Orioles a little bit, Andy, another team that has quite a big fan, reach around here is the St. Louis Cardinals in that NL Central.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of talking about it all year long that I still think they have a chance to win this division. They're 5 games back, Andy, and they're still getting a plus 800 betting odd on winning this division. I know it's a little bit of a long shot, 5 games out of it right now, but I still believe that they can catch the Brewers and win this division at a plus 800. I mean, that is very good odds right now. And they just acquired Eric Fetty, a pitcher, and outfielder Tommy Pham. So I believe that these guys, it's fun to see these guys as buyers, even when they're 5 games down. Obviously, they're the St. Louis Cardinals. They got a whole bunch of money as well. But I believe that they're still trying to win this division, and that plus 800, I think it's one of the better bets as a future right now.
Hey, they even got right-handed starter Sean Armstrong from the Rays. So, yeah, they actually got a really good grade from most accounts, journals and whatnot, talking about the trade deadline. I'm looking at a B+ here from The Athletic.
For sure.
But that's headlined by Eric Fetty.
Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham.
And Tommy Pham. So, the Cardinals are just kind of doing their thing where they're hanging around.
They're hanging around, and like we already said, that they're 5 games out of the division, but they're only a game and a half out of that wild card position. So obviously, their eye is definitely on that wild card to get into that position first, and then make their push for that division winner. I believe that they will make the playoffs and get into one of these wild card spots, but obviously the end goal would be to make sure that they're in the playoffs and catch those Brewers.
Yeah, I mean they're in front of the Pirates here still by a half game, but they just can't really make headway on the Brewers. The Brewers have just been able to stay 5-6 games ahead of them really throughout the entire season. Yeah. Cardinals got off to such a terrible start, and all the naysayers saying, "See, I told you so. See, I told you so." But the Cardinals straightened things out, and they had another strong trade deadline. So yeah, I would not be surprised to see them in the playoffs through that wild card, and that's still a plus money bet.
It's still a plus money bet, and I believe it's one of the better bets in baseball, just because I believe they're getting stronger as other teams in this division are getting weaker. And it's when it butts up against the last games of the summer, it's all division games. So they're going to get to play that division a lot coming down the stretch here, and that's going to be very good for the St. Louis Cardinals playing the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates. Yep.
I got to agree. Well, hey, another team with a strong fan base here, AL Central. We got Royals. Okay, now, we got some fans out there, but no. The Minnesota Twins, your Twinkies, still a plus money bet to win the AL Central. They just can't,
They haven't been able to get that gap, to seize that gap, Andy, and it's giving them very good odds at a plus 270 bet right now. But
plus 300.
But like we said, the Twins are 6 games out, they're getting a plus 270, and the Cardinals are 5 games out, and they're getting a plus 800. It's a little bit of people still believe the Twins can do it. They still believe the Twins have a better lineup overall than the Cleveland Guardians, which I believe is the thing as well. Yeah. They did make a couple moves. A couple moves at the deadline, but I do believe Cleveland got even better at the deadline, which makes the best case for them.
Twins were pretty quiet at the deadline. They did get right-handed pitcher Matt Bowman over from the Diamondbacks, and right-handed pitcher Trevor Richards from the Blue Jays, which that makes me raise an eyebrow, because you usually don't see teams trading within the division like that.
For sure not.
I mean, I get it. Blue Jays are the East and Twins are West, but they still got them on the schedule. Yeah. So it just makes me think that, the Twins just stayed quiet, and they're going to be happy to close in on that wild card.
Yeah, for sure.
They're looking at the Cardinals.
And they're in the wild card right now by 2 games, along with the Kansas City Royals. So you got 3 American League Central teams in the playoffs as of right now, Andy.
Wow.
And like you said, with the Guardians, they did acquire Lane Thomas, and for about a decade now, we've been begging the Guardians to go out and get some external offense before the playoff starts, and they finally did it. It took Thomas, a few years to get his footings, but after arriving in Washington in 2021, he's a solid average hitter with 113 OPS.
Yeah.
So he's a very, very good baseball player, and they brought him in to do such.
Yeah, and it's pretty much chalk across the board. All these trades happened. All this news came down to the wire.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every single book still has the Dodgers as your plus 300, plus 350 favorite to win the World Series, followed by your Phillies at plus 500, plus 400, plus 450. And you don't really see any variations, but most books have the Yankees there in that 3-hole. Are you still on the Phillies?
I am still on the Phillies. I still think it's the best best value bet for a World Series winner, just because I believe they do have the best team in baseball, especially with a couple spark players that really turn on during October, which is what's going to happen. I believe Bryce Harper is the best player in baseball. He's definitely my favorite player in baseball, and that team is electric, especially on those games when they get home games in Philly. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching this thing come down to the wire. But I believe the Philadelphia Phillies plus 500 is the best value bet for the World Series.
We've seen it before. We've seen the Phillies take down the Dodgers before.
Yes, we have.
Well, all righty, that'll about do it for us this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page. And it's not Twitter anymore. It is X, right? For our free picks and fun little videos that we do still put out on X. And if you haven't already, please give our YouTube channel a look. Maybe give us a subscribe, thumbs up, whatever you can do.
Comment, subscribe, please.
There you go. And you're holding down the old TikTok, aren't you?
Yes, please check us out at WTL Sports Betting at TikTok. And we will get you some free picks, some parlays, all that kind of good stuff going into the weekend.
So many ways to interact with the show that is WTL. And, not all those comments are positive ones, but we appreciate them anyway.
Anyways.
Hey, fade JaBron. I've seen that before.
Fade him.
For JaBron, the Parlay Pounder. I'm Andy Classen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.